My name is Ray Matsumoto. I'm the founder of Gardenland. It was started in 1960. Now, people ask me, how did it get started? I went to trade school, and after the Korean War, I was a mechanic, and I joined gardening. So after work, I did gardening, and Saturdays I did gardening. And then about 2 years later, I saw a need for a lawnmower shop. It was a struggle, but we started the business. We worked 7 days a week for 7 years, and it finally started to take hold. But to run a business like Gardenland, in the old days, we didn't have any media. It was newspaper, it was yellow pages, and it was quite difficult. The problems were the same in running any kind of business. And this is what people can't see today. They don't want to be an entrepreneur because they think it's a lot of work. Yes, it is a lot of work. But if I was to do it over again, I will do it. It's been good years, bad years, but a good entrepreneur will keep on going, good or bad. And one of the best things that I did in my business was I wanted the best of everything for the employees. At that time, we couldn't get a business loan. It was discrimination. We couldn't get health insurance. There was discrimination. We couldn't get parts to work on the equipment. We had to borrow parts, buy parts from another dealer just to get started. With all the difficulties, I will do the same thing if I had to, because it's been good years and bad years that we have seen. One of the important things in running a business is your employees, because if you want to run a good business, you can't do it alone. You have to depend on loyal employees. If you have good employees and have good relationship with the customers, we have to please the customer. We have to have repeat business. San Jose at that time wasn't that large. Most of the gardeners were Japanese gardeners because they couldn't get a job any other place, even if they had a college degree. So we had good employees. And another thing, you had to take care of the customers. At first, it was mostly commercial customers. We had the Japanese gardeners. And then word got around, we advertised in the paper, advertised in the yellow pages. That's about the only thing. We went on television twice that I know of. But it was very difficult to get customers. So every week we advertised in the Mercury News. And as far as other things that we had to do, we had to have good vendors. And a lot of times you work with the vendors and it has to work both ways. And a lot of the vendors would tell me things that a new equipment would be coming out. But I wouldn't tell my employees because they wouldn't sell the old inventory. They would sell the new one. And everybody likes new things. So that was a no-no. And I have other rules that I can't think of it at this time, but there's so many things to running a business. Keep your employees happy, keeping your customers happy, keeping the vendors happy. Everybody has to be happy. And if I was to do it over again, I would do it 100% the same way I did it. When we first started in business, it was quite difficult. We only had one person hired, and at that time, our biggest shop work was sharpening of mowers. We did a lot of sharpening for the school districts. In fact, one school district, they didn't have any money. So we sharpened all their equipment, and we didn't charge them till they got some money. And the head gardener said that to the higher ups, and we had their business for over 30, 40 years. They remembered that. My wife, Lucy, she helped. In fact, she was pick up parts, deliver parts. She went to the city jail to deliver parts. And afterwards, you did what? And people say, oh yeah, we didn't think nothing of it then. There was no crimes or anything. San Jose was just the average town because we didn't have things like that to worry about. And then as we go along in years, we started to do good, and we won a lot of awards from different manufacturers. All the factories wanted to outdo each other, so they set quotas for us. And we did a lot of traveling over the world, going to see their factory, like in Germany, like in Japan. Nothing in Mexico, but we've been to Mexico, Puerto Rico. We went to a lot of different trips. And people said, Ray, when are you going to retire? I said, why retire? I'm enjoying my business, and it's something that if you enjoy, it's not work. As I got older, a lot of business, they didn't have any continuation plan. So I was always looking for somebody to replace me. I had one nephew, Glenn Kurimoto. He helped out for years. In fact, he went to a trade show and wanted to get a business. And I heard about it, so we got together, and he was with me for about 30 years. And then as he was getting older, I knew he wanted to retire before I retired. So, and we had a visitor come, and that was Richard Ogawa's father. They came, they wanted to sell some equipment because Mr. Ogawa was going to retire from business. And we got to talking, and after 6 months of negotiation, Richard finally came in. And then when the first year, he didn't say much. I says, just learn our way. He learned our way, and then from the second year on, I had to slow him down because he wanted to do many different things. But I says, let's slow down a little bit and we'll get good results, which he did. He slowed down. And then about the third year, I said to myself, I don't have to slow him down. He knows what he's doing. So this is the result of what it is today. It's a good going business. It keeps me going because I'm interested. This is my baby, and it's in the family. I always consider Richard a family. One of the biggest challenges today is California law 2024. California always has to be different. They ban small engines altogether less than 15 horsepower, I believe. But in the transition, Richard has years ago, about 8 years ago, he started looking into battery. And today, he's been prepared because over half the business of Gardenland is battery. And in fact, Richard started a new business, Towa, which I am part of. With Towa, he's building a PDM box where they could charge 24 pieces at one time. Workers get in at 5 o'clock, they plug them all in. The next morning, they're all charged. Whereas if they didn't have this PDM, they would have to have somebody recharging and changing the battery to get it charged. This whole new industry is what keeps me going, battery. A lot of people, they don't like electric. Like at home now, all my tools are electric. And my gardener, he uses the blower, and it makes too much noise. So I says, don't use the blower, use my blower. It's electric. One of the things that people have to realize that the cars gonna be in 2035, they're gonna be all electric cars. So this will be a good test, the small engine business, will be a good test for the cars, because eventually there won't be any four-cycle automobile. And the cost factor in electric is a lot less cost to maintain. It might cost a little bit more, or about even with gasoline to buy, but their operating costs will be a lot less. Probably one of the costs in going into battery is the equipment doesn't cost that much, but the battery does. So Gardenland has started a subscription plan where you pay so much a month. You don't own it, you sort of rent it. It's a subscription. And you don't have to worry about the upkeep. You don't have to worry. If something happens to the equipment, then you get a new equipment. Something happens to the battery, you get a new battery. So once you have a subscription plan, you don't have to worry about anything. You have a set cost to do your business. And the biggest thing in any kind of business is if you have a set cost, you can work as hard as you can. We don't have a time limit, and it's still covered. So this is one of the best things Gardenland has started. Through the years, I built the foundation of Gardenland. My nephew, he built the second story. And when Richard came in, he's going to build a skyscraper. We haven't seen how high of a skyscraper, but I know the skyscraper is getting height. It might be 20-story, it might be 30-story. But Richard has done a wonderful job, and this is all due to battery and Towa. On April the 25th, I'll be 94 years old. And one way I'm going to celebrate this is I'm inviting everybody to our Gardenland OE show. It's going to be in Campbell at the Morgan Park. And we're going to have all the battery equipment. You could see them all, try them, and make a decision, because you better get used to it, because it's going to be all battery, no gas. So come on down and celebrate my 94th birthday, April 25th.